You, what's up with y'all boys and girls, man? Hey, it's Jay Briggs here with picks from the DawgHouse NFL edition, playoff edition, man. We're here. We're in the wild card round. And if you lose, you go home. You win, you move on. It's that time of season, man. I'm excited to break down the games. We got an extra game, of course, as they added a team last year and removed a bye from the equation last season. So only two teams will not be playing this week, and that's the Chiefs and the Detroit Lions. Everybody else, you're in action, buddy. And we're finna break it down and cook it up right here, right now. Big Al McMorty, NFL Wildcard Weekend. How you doing, sir?
Doing good. No complaints. Yeah, excited for the football games, and yeah, it looks like a lot of competitive games this week, so it should be fun.
Ready to break it down. Ready to break it down. Sean, welcome to have and glad to have you back after missing you last week. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, I had to miss last week there on the road, so I think Al missed the gray hoodie memo here today. It looks like
What's the gray hoodie?
me and Jay, but looks like
Oh,
Jay and I have the same.
I never look at the script. Like I don't like looking
Yeah,
at so I don't see what anyone's
uh,
wearing.
yeah. It's playoff weekend. Good to get into the postseason after last week's kind of weird. The week 18 silliness that we always see. I don't know. I ended the regular season on a fairly good note on the big plays anyway. So we'll look to keep it going here in Wild Card Weekend.
Let's keep it rolling, fellas. Let's keep it rolling. Of course, it's a shorter schedule with only 6 games, so the show won't last as long as it usually does. But we're still gonna break them down nonetheless. And we start on Saturday. Saturday NFL action. We got the Chargers at the Houston Texans. Two young quarterbacks looking to get their first playoff win. Somebody's gonna get it. Al, you're up first here, my man. I see the Chargers laying 3 on the road and the total 42 and a half.
Yeah, I mean, talked about this in past playoff seasons, Jay. This game is going to be played in a domed stadium, and playoff games in domed stadiums tend to be high scoring. They've gone 58 and 38 over the total, and that's what I like here. I like the over 42 and a half.
Over the total. Higher scoring game, says Big Al McMorty in the dome. Sean, how you feeling?
Yeah, I think situationally here, I'd be looking to fade the Chargers off those three straight wins down the stretch, and just but based on the way the Texans played in those big step up games late in the season, and just as a whole, it seems like Houston was. I think everyone had high expectations for them this season. They never really got rolling. It didn't seem like nothing really clicked for them. And I don't love the D'Amico Ryan's coaching style. He's really a conservative kind of just the way they play the games. It's very conservative, and I just don't like that in the postseason. Chargers to me, team playing their best football here. It would be classic Chargers to come into this game and kind of just as the road favorite and end up blowing it, as we've seen in years past in the postseason with the Chargers. But I don't know. I kind of have a feeling here we see the Chargers ultimately end up pulling away in this game. So as much as I hate to lay points on the road right off the bat in the first game, my lean's to the Chargers.
I'm leaning towards the Houston Texans in this one. Chargers got to show me. Is ultimately what it comes down to. Justin Herbert, people want to elevate him into that top 5 quarterback conversation. I misspoke earlier as well. Stroud has a playoff win. He got one last year. Um, Herb doesn't have one, though. Herb does not have a playoff win. We've seen Herb in playoff action when he played the Jacksonville Jaguars. Remember what happened in that game. Chargers had a huge lead, and then they got walked down by the Jags of all teams. The Jags walked them boys down in that playoff game. I don't trust the Chargers. Um, the Texans last year dominated Cleveland in that first playoff game. What was the score in that one? 45-14. Then, of course, the next week they went and got dominated by the Baltimore Ravens out on the road. I'm just the Chargers. They haven't been that great of a team to me all season long. Is ultimately what it boils down to. Solid team, but so are the Texans. And I think this is a legitimate 50-50 style game. And, I'm getting the home team with points in my back pocket. I think the home team matches up really well with the Chargers. I'll grab the 3 in my pocket. I just think Los Angeles is a little overrated and overvalued. So, wouldn't shock me if the Chargers were driving late to win the game in the end, but wouldn't shock me if the Texans were either, and the Texans pulled the outright dub out. So I'll just grab the 3 in my back pocket or attack the outright money line with the home team. That's how I see this game. So tough game, good game. Can't wait to watch it. But I will be on the Houston Texans in that one. Let's keep it rolling, fellas. We head over to man Baltimore, where the Ravens 9.5-point home favorites over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Total 43.5. Sean, AFC battle going on here, man. How you feeling in this one?
Yeah, so quick rematch here 3 weeks ago. In that Saturday night game, we saw Baltimore beat Pittsburgh 34-17. They were 7-point favorites there. So a bit of a higher line here. I'm going to go with the Steelers plus the points in this spot. We've got the Ravens coming off 4 straight blowout wins. Steelers couldn't have looked much worse down the stretch, but last Saturday I had the Steelers there in that game plus 2.5. Very fortunate to get that cash against the Bengals last Saturday night. Um, I think the Steelers show up here on Saturday in this revenge spot on the road against the Ravens. We just heard this afternoon that Baltimore is going to be without Zay Flowers as well, so that's a bit of a hit to their offense here. I think the Steelers can hang around this time, which is exactly what they didn't do 3 weeks ago. But I think they can do it here this week and keep this thing close. Ravens win, but don't cover.
Unpopular opinion. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers have a legitimate chance to win this game outright. Unpopular opinion. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers have a legitimate chance to win this game outright. Look, I think it's a bad draw for the Baltimore Ravens, man. This is a team, I know they've beaten up on the Steelers recently, but this is a team. Who do they struggle against most? They dominate everybody else 9 times out of 10, except for division opponents. So you're going to give me 10 in my back pocket in a division game for the Ravens, I'm going to grab it. The Ravens are not the team that has had this overwhelming playoff success where it's like I just want to jump on them and this is easy. No, I think this is far from that. I know Pittsburgh has kind of limped their way into the playoffs, but if there's a team that they're for sure getting up to play for in the playoffs, it's the Baltimore Ravens. Man, they gonna give it they all. They gonna die on this football field. Is how I see this playing out. So I gotta grab the points in my back pocket. And man, it wouldn't shock the hell out of me if Pittsburgh won this game outright. It would not. It would not. Al?
Yeah, Sean mentioned how the point spread has changed from the meeting a few weeks ago. Well, the over-under has changed a little bit as well. It was 44.5, a couple of weeks ago. Now it's down to 43.5. I do think the value is on the over. And the other thing to bear in mind is that NFL playoff games, non-competitive games with point spreads greater or equal to 7, they do tend to be high scoring. They've gone 103 and 80 over the total over the years. You'll see, the most competitive playoff games would tend to be unders, but when you get high point spreads, they tend to be over. So I'm going to take the over the 43.5.
Those are the 2 Saturday games, ladies and gentlemen. Let's scoot on over to Sunday. Where? First game on the board. The Denver Broncos. They punched the ticket to the playoffs last week as they beat up on the Kansas City Chiefs. RIP, the 2024-2025 Cincinnati Bengals. Broncos, 8.5-point road dogs in Buffalo. This is a tough game for me. Buffalo, I do think, is head and shoulders the better football team. I would lean in their direction, laying the points in this one. Rookie quarterback, road playoff environment, especially in Buffalo. It's probably one of the worst playoff environments to be walking into as a rookie. Buffalo is one of those teams that's just pedal to the metal all game long, and I think ultimately they win this game by like 10 plus. It's probably going to be right on 10 is what I think it's going to end up being. I just don't think the Broncos match up that well with Buffalo. A lot of lumber to lay, but I'll lay it here with the Bills. I just think they are head and shoulders the better football team. Solid season for Denver. Good story. I think they get beat up here, though, in Buffalo. Al?
Yeah, I like Buffalo here. Especially coming off, I had a big play on New England last week against Buffalo. No surprise, New England won that game. But off that loss, and now they're playing a Denver team off that blowout win. It's a good setup for the Bills. Historically, Buffalo's done really well at home. If it was off a loss, its opponent was off a win, and Buffalo didn't cover the spread in that previous game. Buffalo's gone 42 and 21 ATS in that situation, and I just think this is a nice setup for the Bills. I'm going to lay the points.
Sean?
Yeah, slight lean here to the Bills. It's probably not a play I'm gonna be on. I do think this is a game that probably Bills win it. I think it comes down to the wire as far as the point spread goes. I wonder if that bit of inexperience from Bo Nix and the Broncos here maybe ends up costing them in the end. The Bills end up pulling away. I think I don't mind the matchup that much. I do think the Broncos can stick around for a while. I just don't know if they can do it for 4 quarters. Um, yeah, Bills off that game last week where they basically just laid down against the Patriots. Gave Josh Allen his one series and that was it. And then you've got the Broncos who basically went all out against the Chiefs in that game to get in. So my lean would be to the Bills, but it's probably not going to end up being a play. And I think the total is pretty much bang on. It's in the mid to high 40s here. I'm not going to be touching that total.
Fair enough. Al, we got a rematch of a game we last watched together.
That's true, and I was on the wrong side of that game.
So was I.
It's crazy when you think about that. That game started the season, and here we are at the end of the season.
Here we are. We got the Packers. And
I thought you were talking. I thought you were talking about the Washington Tampa Bay game.
No, I'm talking about Green Bay and Philadelphia.
Yeah, no, I remember. Yeah, there's the two rematches from opening week, Washington Tampa Bay. I didn't have anything in the Green Bay Philly game, but I had Washington against Tampa Bay that first game.
I was on Green Bay in this game. So this was the first. Was this the first game of the season?
This was the
second game.
I want to say the
It's in
second
Brazil.
game, but I remember you and I were at that hotel and.
Okay, so this was the second game of the season, and we were at dinner for this game with everybody. That's what makes it even crazy. We were at dinner with everyone. It was me, you, Ruffalo, Eric, Mitch, Costi, Carrie, Micah. It was everybody.
Yeah.
We were here, and this was the game that was on. And then after we walked out of the dinner, we walked through the Sportsbook and kind of watched the game.
And everyone kind of got lost because there was 20 people trying to stay together. It didn't exactly work.
Right, exactly. But this was a photo finish in that game, man. Walking through Vegas and seeing that finish, I will never forget that. Philadelphia pulled that game off on that terrible turf in Brazil. That was the biggest thing I took from that game was how terrible that turf was. Somebody's got to win this one. They got Philadelphia laying 4.5 here. How are you feeling in this spot, Big Al McMorty?
Oh, I'm going to look at the total again for this game. The Eagles are one of those teams. Like last week, they got just 20 points. But when the Eagles don't score a lot of points, then the next week, those games tend to go over. When the Eagles get 23 or less points, they've then played overs the next week, 75 and 49. And then also Green Bay playoff games tend to be very high scoring. Green Bay's 31 and 16 over the total in its playoff game since 1980. So I'm going to take the over in this game, the over 45.5.
Sean?
Yeah, I was with you on the the Packers in that. first game of the season, and that was kind of it looked like we had that win in the bag. That was a painful loss against the spread there.
Mhm.
Um, I like the Packers again in this situation, plus 4.5. Um, Season didn't end the way they wanted it to, I guess, in the regular season. Mainly that loss in Minnesota 2 games ago, close loss, and then again last week a close loss to the Bears. I just think with the Eagles, good bet all season long, but they played one of the weakest schedules in the league. Um, I don't know. I feel like this is just a game that comes down to a field goal, and I'm also with Al that we likely see quite a few points in this game. You remember that game on the horrible field in Brazil was actually turned out to be a shootout as well. Whether it was because the defensive players didn't have their footing or what it was, it was a shootout, and I can see the same kind of situation unfolding here on Sunday. So my leans would be to the over and the Packers plus the points.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. I have said a lot down the stretch that the Eagles are my favorite in the NFC, and that is still the case. They still are my favorite. But that doesn't mean I have them winning the games by margin. I'm on the Green Bay Packers plus the points in this. I think this game is going to be kind of eerie, similar to that first one. It's probably going to come right down to the last drive. Um, Hopefully this time we're inside the number when the Packers are driving, though, and it's not outside the number, praying on them to close the deal. Um, Jalen Hurts right now still in concussion protocol, questionable. I think that's
Well,
huge.
the line's ticking up to 5, so I think that's evidence he's going to be playing.
Still right now questionable, and
He's going to play.
I think he's going to play as well, but still, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a sexy spot to be laying points here with Philadelphia. They're probably going to come in here with a run-heavy approach anyway with Saquon Barkley. And, of course, shout out to him for the amazing season that he had. That should be their approach. I don't know if that trends to a dominant win for Philadelphia. They probably pull it off, but I don't know if it's dominant. Remember, Green Bay won last season on the road, their first playoff game of the season. They beat up another NFC East opponent. Sadly, happened to be my team that they beat up in that spot, but they did do that. They walked into Dallas and beat us up. I think this is going to be a higher scoring game, kind of like Al was saying. And I want the points in my back pocket with Green Bay. I think Philly wins, but I think it's going to be tight. Come right down to the wire. I'll grab the points with the pack. Let's keep it rolling, fellas. Last one on Sunday. We got the Washington Commanders at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Sean, how you feeling here, my man?
Yeah, I think I like Tampa in this game laying the field goal as much as Commanders are kind of a no-quit team. We've seen so many games come down to the wire with them this year where you think they're out and they're back in it, and they're going to put up a fight here. And obviously there's a fairly high probability this one comes down to the wire, as a lot of these playoff games are bound to do. But I like the Bucks here. I just think Tampa's got the playoff experience. They had their hiccup there last Sunday against the Saints, where I shouldn't say they almost lost that game. They took over in the second half, but didn't, they weren't anywhere close to covering that huge spread. I had them the week previous against, I had a big play on them against Carolina when they won that game 48-14. I think the letdown was kind of in order regardless last week, and that's how we saw it play out. But I think they're a better team than that. I think just as a whole, they're the better team in this matchup, and I think we're getting a pretty fair number here, with them laying only 3 points against a Washington team that's won. They won 5 straight games down the stretch. We'll fade the Commanders here.
I'm fading the Commanders right along with you. I'm on the Tampa Bay Bucks. The Tampa Bay Bucks are my dark horse in the NFC. It wouldn't shock the hell out of me if this team was in the NFC Championship game and low-key in the Super Bowl, bro. I'm telling you, it would not shock me. It wouldn't. Fading another rookie quarterback on the road in his first playoff action. I'm fading Jaden Daniels in this spot, in this situation. Tampa Bay, man, I just like the vibes of this team, man. I've been telling y'all this for a while. Like, Tampa Bay, I just like the makeup, the moxie of this team. Like, I love the Baker Mayfield turnaround story. I love the Mike Evans story. And then this team offensively, you thought they was gonna when they lost Godwin, they were just gonna lose a step, and they didn't. This is a team that won a playoff game last year. They put out the Philadelphia Eagles, who everybody's so in love with. This is a really good Tampa Bay team. It's a team that flies under the radar more often than not. I think, while solid season for Washington, great season for Washington, I think they come up short here in their first go-around with their young rookie quarterback. I think Tampa probably wins the game quite comfortably. 27-20 is what I got the game finishing out here. Give me the Bucks. Al?
Yeah, I was just trying to think about who I think is going to, which teams have the best path to the Super Bowl. I kind of landed on Philadelphia and Kansas City, but as far as this game goes, I'm going to go against you guys. I'm going to take Washington. Going back, that was the game I was thinking about for the opening week. I was on Washington that game. They lost 37-20 to Tampa, just laid an egg. But I like them here. When you take a look at how revenge-minded teams have gone in the wild card round, they've done quite well, going 55-40 ATS, including 37-25 ATS as an underdog. So I'm going to grab the points with Washington. The line's 3 across the board. If it could ever get to 3.5, it would make it a really nice play.
There we go. Last game of the week, ladies and gentlemen. Monday Night Football. We got the Los Angeles Rams, home dogs, Minnesota. 1-point favorites in this game, total 47.5. I'm up first here to close this out. It's a tough game. This is a tough game, ladies and gentlemen. I could really argue going either way, and the line's 1. So, you know what I mean? I'm taking the Rams. I think the Rams win the football game. Solid season for Minnesota. Great story for Minnesota. Ultimately, I'm just favoring experience in the playoffs. Like, that's what it boils down to me, experience. Sam Darnold, first playoff game of his career. All them starts he got under his belt. He ain't never played no playoff game. He was on the Jets, the Panthers, and who else? He spent the season in, San Francisco, but he didn't get on the field. So, Sam Darnold never played in the playoffs. You know who has played in the playoffs? Matthew Stafford. You know what Matthew Stafford has done in his career? He don't let a team to go win that bowl. That's what he's done. And his head coach, I think, is one of still the best in the league, man. Y'all know I talk about this head coach and quarterback tandem all the time. I love a great head coach and a great quarterback tandem. I just think that's what pushes the Rams over the edge. That's what just pushed them over the edge this season. And I think for Minnesota, a team that relies on disguising coverages, hiding coverages, and confusing young quarterbacks, they got a bad draw because Matthew Stafford has seen it all. He's a veteran. He's seen it all. He knows how to decipher this. He knows how to check into this, check out of that. This beats this. This beats that. If Minnesota was playing one of the young guys, I would be all over Minnesota. That pressure would get to them, but I don't think it's going to get to Matthew. Not good old Stafford. I'm on the Rams. I think they win it. Keep it rolling. Al?
Yeah, I mean, a few games ago, I talked about how non-competitive playoff games with point spreads of 7 or more tend to be high scoring. Well, competitively priced playoff games with point spreads below 3 tend to be low scoring. And they've gone 43-28 with a push under the total since 1980. So I'm going to take it under the 47.5.
Sean, close this out, my man.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page as Al as far as the total goes here. So these two teams met on October 24th, and we saw the Rams win 30-20. So we're seeing a slightly higher total here this week. I think the total is just too high. I kind of expected this one to be around 45, 44.5. So I think the value's with the under. Yeah, I don't want to fade either of these teams, really. I mean, you've got the Vikings coming off that blowout loss in Detroit on Sunday. So, pretty solid bounce back spot here. But the Rams they played so well down the stretch. They're not a team that I'm I'm really looking to go against. And Jay, you kind of laid it all out with Matthew Stafford's experience. I think it is a good matchup. We already saw earlier this season it was a good matchup for the Rams when they won by 10 at home as a 3-point dog. So um, I can't see myself touching the side in this one. Just not interested in fading either of these two teams, and that's just the way the NFL likes it to put the Monday night game on Wild Card Weekend as the biggest toss up of the week. I think that's just how it goes. So we'll leave that as a toss up, and I'll lean to the under with Al.
Fair enough, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. That's all. NFL picks from the DawgHouse. Picks from the DawgHouse NFL edition, Wild Card edition. Appreciate each and every one of y'all, man. Of course, we will have premium plays over at the site. Al, what's your weekend look like for NFL action? Or overall?
Yeah, I'm going to have 4 plays, none of which I gave out here on the show. So people can try to figure that out. But I'll have 4 premium plays. I've also got folks are watching early enough. I've got the winner of the Ohio State-Texas game as well. So 5 postseason plays will be up at Pick Dawgz, plus, of course, basketball.
Sean?
Yeah, I've got plays on the totals in both of the college football playoff semifinal games. And then I've also got, I don't have my NFL posted yet. The NFL is going to be posted later tonight. Actually, I should have 4 or 5 plays over the course of the weekend. So looking ahead to that, and yeah, lots of basketball. Been doing pretty well lately in college hoops. So we'll keep that rolling into the weekend as well.
Just had to, you know what I mean? One more time for those that don't understand. Just you feel me? You feel me? If you catch my drift, all right? And we don't need no points tomorrow. We don't need no points on Friday. We don't need no points on Friday. But for me, NFL-wise, I'll probably be betting every single game. So just depends on how it happens when I wake up that day. So just be on the lookout for me. I'll probably have in the playoffs, unless I just don't like a game, I'm betting the game. So that's how it boils down to me, for me. Catch it on that day. 9 times out of 10, though, y'all know my NFL. I just tell y'all anyway. So it is what it is, man. Money making Thursday, though. Any final words from you two fellas before we get out of here?
Well, are you still on the Chiefs to win it all?
Of course, yes, I am. That's I gotta go look what my futures ticket is on, or like what my payout on the futures ticket is. But yeah, I placed Chiefs at the start of the season to win the Super Bowl.
Probably plus 550-ish.
Yeah, it sounds. I think like 600, 550, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I'm at. 3-peat, Patty.
And then my official prediction will be the Eagles over the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Okay, for a rematch. Okay.
2 years ago, yeah.
Yeah. My dark horse, like I told y'all, is Tampa Bay. So them the 2 teams I got a little money on. Tampa Bay just for the hell of it, and then Kansas City. Sean, you got a Super Bowl favorite?
I don't have one off the top of my head right now. This is the common question you get asked when you're in
Right.
this position every year after year.
Right.
As soon as someone hears what what you do for a living, it's who's winning the Super Bowl this year,
Right.
and I rarely have an answer. I haven't had a lot of conviction on a Super Bowl winner since the year, like really that where I really went large on a team was the year the Ravens won with Flacco at quarterback when they beat the Niners that year. Um, Bet on them late. It was late in the season actually, but that was the year the Ravens were kind of counted out. They had to fight to get in the playoffs, and they went on the run and ended up winning it all. I just, that was the year where I had some confidence. Most years, I mean, yeah, we'll see how it plays out. I'm more of a game by game better.
Fair enough. I'm pretty good at it. I mean, I'm pretty decent at it. At futures, I don't do them all that often. I just do them mainly for the fun of it. But I got the Chiefs in the NFL. Last season, I had in basketball, I had the Celtics, and then I bought out of it, and that's for my Mavs. But
Yeah.
you know, happens. So we'll see. We shall see if them Chiefs can be the first team to ever three-peat. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate each and every one of y'all. We'll be back next week to cook this thing up in the divisional round. So we'll see y'all then. We out of here. Peace.